don't get brake fluid on your paint or anything else. It'll strip the paint off the tank. There was a lot of this sludge, like that there, what you can see there, inside the reservoir here. Okay, so it's just the normal drill. I'll put brake fluid in there, and I'll apply the brakes on the other side of the bike. As I apply the brakes, I'll turn this out so that the brake fluid can be drained out. Then, as I let the brakes out, I'll seat this screw here. Okay, so I see the fluid coming out of here is fairly clean. This brake fluid may have been changed fairly recently, but just to be sure, I'll go ahead and clean it anyway. So unfortunately, this nib, it doesn't have enough space between the nut and the nib for me to put this hose on. It just won't stay there. So yeah, it makes a liar out of me. So there we go. And being the same colour, I think it's DOT5, DOT 5.1. Okay, so with the handlebars turned fully to the left, you can see that the reservoir's more level, and it can hold a lot more brake fluid. So as we can see, it looks fairly dirty, so there's a chance I might be able to see the new stuff coming through. Okay, so I've got a 3/8 spanner. Okay, so I'm pressing on the brake now. I'll release it and then stop it, and you just keep on. Same procedure. Looks pretty dirty and old to me. Okay, so I haven't renewed the brake fluid on a motorbike for a while. What happens is when you apply the brake fluid squirts out of the container here, so I'm going to cover that with the actual top. So I'm just going to make sure that the top of the brake fluid container is relatively clean, just by cleaning up the groove in the rubber here. Okay, so there's notches here in the metal part of the lid, one there and one there, and the rubber also has matching notches. You might be able to see a notch just there. So watch out for that brake fluid, don't get any on your bike, just keep on keeping an eye on the covering and protection you've got, especially if it's a new bike. God. So that'll protect the bike there. Okay, that'll be good to go now. So yeah, it's middle of winter here, and it's about 5 o'clock. Dark outside. Okay, so I expect to see the new brake fluid coming out pretty soon. There's also a fair amount of rust and debris in this oil. So yeah, you can see the new clean brake fluid coming through, and that's the older stuff down there. Probably see a bit of the new brake fluid there, and it looks very unhealthy to me to have that all that gunk there on the side closest to the camera. Okay, so now we are going to fill up our reservoir with brake fluid, but not too much. We've got to put the top on, and the top has that bit that sits down into the canister. Tighten up the screws. And as always, tighten them down evenly. Look for any bits and pieces that have splashed onto your bike, and make sure there's nothing on the canister container. Although this bike has had a fair amount of weathering, you can see around here what brake fluid does to paint. It just sort of eats into it and damages it. So put your cap back on. Make sure the brake feels good. Make sure there's ample fluid in the reservoir. Just test out the brakes. I've got to say, that feels 10 times better. Okay, so first time you hit the road, just remember to test your brakes at a low speed before you go out there for real and you know, get up to any speed. Right, be careful out there. Expect the unexpected, and just remember that your worst enemy is your own right hand. Your brake line is a metal line down to here, then it becomes rubber, small rubber area here, then it becomes a metal dropper, goes underneath, becomes rubber. And it goes to your brake caliper. Okay, an Evo XLH. Change the brake fluid on the rear brake. So you've got your brake here, got your reservoir. On the other side, you've got your caliper, and there's the purge or the vent there.